He only needed a tenant. Someone quiet, reliable, nothing complicated. But when 21-year-old Emily stepped into his life with a suitcase full of secrets and eyes that held more pain than joy, single dad Jake had no idea how much his world was about to change. He thought she was just a college girl looking for a cheap room. He never imagined she was the daughter of a millionaire running from everything money couldn't fix. And by the time he found out, it wasn't just a rental agreement at stake, it was the fragile family he was trying to rebuild, and the girl who was teaching him how to feel again. Stay with me, because what begins as a simple act of kindness becomes a story of healing, heartbreak, and the kind of love that money can never buy. It was early autumn when Emily knocked on the peeling front door of Jake Turner's modest suburban home, her oversized hoodie clinging to her frame and her eyes shifting nervously down the driveway. She looked out of place on this street, too quiet, too small for someone who probably knew nothing but glass mansions and drivers waiting outside. Jake, 37, rugged from years of construction work and the heartbreak of losing his wife 3 years ago, opened the door with a cup of reheated coffee in one hand and his 5-year-old daughter Lily clinging to his leg. "You Emily?" he asked, voice low but kind. She nodded, brushing a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. "Yeah, from the ad. You said the room was still available." He glanced at her, then up and down the street, wondering what a girl like her was doing in a neighborhood like his. The room was barely more than a converted attic, but she didn't even flinch when he described it on the phone. "It's small," he said as he stepped aside. "And the water pressure's crap. But it's warm in winter." She gave him a small smile, one of those forced ones that said more than it hid. "That's more than enough." Emily moved in that evening with just 2 duffel bags and a box of books. No parents, no car, no complaints. She paid in cash, 6 months up front. Jake didn't ask questions. He didn't need the drama. He worked long hours and spent his evenings trying to be both mom and dad to Lily, who still woke up crying for her mother some nights. Emily was quiet, respectful, and never brought anyone over. Perfect tenant. But nothing perfect stays hidden forever. It started small. One evening, Jake came home late from a site and found Emily sitting on the floor of the kitchen, teaching Lily how to braid her doll's hair. They were both laughing, really laughing, the kind of sound that hadn't filled his house in years. His heart tightened, not in a romantic way, but in that achingly grateful way that makes you want to cry and thank someone at the same time. Another time, Lily had a fever. Jake was exhausted, holding her in his arms while pacing the living room, unsure if he should go to the ER. Emily stepped in without a word, placed a cool cloth on Lily's forehead, and stayed up all night reading to her from Charlotte's Web. "You didn't have to," he whispered at 3 a.m., staring at her across the couch. "She reminds me of someone," Emily said softly. But she didn't say who. He noticed how she always flinched when the phone rang, how she never used her last name, how her gaze sometimes lingered too long on pictures of Lily and his late wife. Then came the night it all cracked open. Jake got home early from work and found Emily on the back porch, sitting cross-legged on a chair, crying. She didn't see him at first. Her phone was in her lap, screen still lit. He didn't mean to look, but he did. Bank transfer confirmation minus $250,000. Sender, Elizabeth H. Winston. He froze. Winston. The name hit him like a freight train. Elizabeth Winston, owner of Winston Holdings, one of the richest women in the state. He'd worked on one of her properties once. Guards everywhere, marble floors, the kind of wealth you read about in magazines. Jake stepped forward. "Emily." She jumped, wiping her face with her sleeve. She started, but her voice cracked. "You okay?" She nodded. "Yeah, just, long day." He could have pressed, should have, but something in her eyes told him the truth mattered less than the pain she was carrying. Still, the questions built up, until they boiled over the night Lily fell off the jungle gym and broke her arm. They were in the ER. Jake, frantic. Emily, calm and composed, navigating the hospital system like she'd done it 100 times. She called someone, Jake didn't know who, and suddenly, the best pediatric surgeon in the state was attending to Lily personally. He cornered her in the hallway. "Who are you?" Emily looked away. "Just someone who wants to help." "You know the head surgeon of a private hospital." You paid cash for 6 months. You get random bank transfers from Elizabeth Winston. Don't lie to me. She sighed. It was the kind of sigh that came from holding something too heavy for too long. I'm her daughter. Silence. Jake stared at her, everything falling into place. I couldn't take it anymore, she continued. The expectations. The coldness. My dad, he left when I was little. My mom runs an empire but never had time for me. I needed to feel real. I wanted to see what life was like without being watched, weighed, or bought. And you ended up here. I found your ad. It sounded human. Jake didn't know what to say. He'd judged her all wrong. And yet, everything about her made sense now. The kindness, the emptiness, the need to belong somewhere. She didn't know where I was, Emily added. Until Lily got hurt. I had to call her. She's not a monster, but she's not a mother, either. He looked at her, really looked. The way she knelt beside Lily at night, the way she flinched when she laughed too hard, like she wasn't used to joy. The way she looked at his broken little family like it was the only thing still holding her together. I don't care who your mother is, he said finally. But Lily, she's gotten attached to you. So have I. You running again. Emily's eyes welled up. I don't want to. Not unless I have to. You don't, he said, and for the first time, she believed it. The seasons turned, and Emily stayed. She balanced college, helped with Lily, and rebuilt herself brick by brick. She started painting again, smiled more, called her mother less. One night, as Jake was tucking Lily in, she whispered, "Is Emily gonna be my new mommy?" He paused. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said. "But I know she loves you very much." And that was enough. Eventually, Emily faced her past. She met with her mother. Told her what she needed, not money, not protection, but respect. The conversation was hard, but it opened a door. Not long after, Elizabeth Winston came to Jake's house. Not as a CEO. Just as a mother trying to understand the girl she'd nearly lost. Jake opened the door. Emily stood beside him, no longer afraid. Elizabeth looked around, saw Lily drawing on the porch, and something softened in her eyes. "I didn't come to take her back," she said. "I came to say thank you." Jake nodded. "You're welcome." And that was that. Emily didn't leave. She didn't need to. Because she had found something money could never buy. A home. A family. And a single dad who once just needed a tenant, but ended up finding hope, healing, and a reason to believe again.